Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's on-demand webinar. We are here today with Raven Web Services, and we will be doing a session on Yellowknife's newest job bank, the Handy Job site. My name is Deneen Everett, and I'm the Executive Director for the Yellowknife Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined here by Gabe Powis. We are really excited to have a special code for all of today's attendees to give you a premium access to the Handy Job site, which I will post in the chat. If anyone has any questions or feedback throughout the session, please don't hesitate to either enter it in the chat or just unmute your microphone and ask us any questions that you might have. Without further ado, please join me in a virtual round of applause and we'll get this session started.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Deneen. I'm excited to show this off to everybody. Without getting too chatty, without showing off stuff, let's just get right into this here. And I'm gonna hide the little thumbnails on the side so that everybody or I could see the screen what I'm talking about. Welcome to the Handy Job site. It's actually a service that me, the owner of Raven Web Services, has put together as basically kind of I would say a community service. It's designed first and foremost for employers, but it wasn't in the end just for employers. Thanks to some feedback in the testing and just leading up to it, we've actually figured that it was best to add in some job seeker features as well. So that way, not only are there jobs here, but there's a little bit of incentive for the job seekers to come, which obviously is what us as employers would like, to have more job seekers than just employers populating the site all day. That has some extra benefits to not just bringing more eyes, but it's actually going to lead to a candidate pool, which is something that's not quite ready now. But it will be ready in the relatively near future. Still got a fair amount of bugs to iron out because it was a pretty new request. But it's kind of like a reverse job board. So what that means is that ideally, these people that come and submit their jobs would submit their resume. And when they're submitting their resume, they would give us their first name, last name, hopefully their address and their phone number. And then they would give us resume, again, some information. They would create a little account. I'm not going to actually do this because I'm not going to do that. I will maybe pretend to do a demo and apply to someone's listing after to show how it works. But the plan for that is that eventually that we'll have a pool of collection of resumes from different individuals, and it's not going to be visible to all the public, but the idea is for employers to be able to come in and look through a pool of candidates that are collected. So there's no cost to the people that are putting that in there for the job seekers. So there's no barrier of entry. So we're just making that as easy as possible to get them to come in. So that way it's good for all of us. Now, when it comes to the actual employer side of it, it's designed to be a job posting / recruiting tool. So not only would you go and you post a job, when you're doing this, it'll sign you up as well. So I might as well just show you could either post a job, choose to log in or sign up, but just going to try to post a job is going to lead somebody going through the process. I'm just going to do a regular listing. So pretend I'm a new employer. I'll use my favorite demo. Just Acme. Still trying to make stuff to get that coyote. And we'll give myself an actual. That's not it. So suggest me a password. Okay, how about easy? Sorry, 1 second. Oh, good, I did it. So then I'll pretend I'm making a job. Handle makers need those. Yellowknife. Pick the job category that would go with your listing. In this case, it's manufacturing, looking for handles, and let's say we need someone. This is optional for the secondary. Well, I guess optional for both, but it's best to pick your categories to really make it easier for people that are seeking these jobs and positions. But it's also nice to identify the language. That is something that not all sites do. We have a fair amount of official languages in the north, so I would like to give that benefit to the people that want to declare it. Make good handles. Again, the more information you could put in here, the better. So if you can give a minimum maximum salary range, great. Even, you know, if you could do the time frame, let's say 50,000 annually, not monthly, that'd be a great job. And so then you also have the option of, you know, do you want it to just be emailed to you if you have a link, because some people may have their own recruiting page or even another site or service that they use, if you prefer to use that. But my preferred one and the default option is actually just have it directly here. So someone be able to then say, yeah, I'll have it applications directly through the handy job site. Then I preview it. Yep, that looks great. Looking for an anvil maker at Acme. So I'll confirm that. Then in this case, it's just a free listing. So I post that. Now, that was easy and all. And in reality, we do want to have everybody be able to make job posts. There is the premium listed ones, and that's where you have all got a coupon to make as many premium posts as you want, which are featured ads. And verification is a really big idea behind kind of this service as well, though, is we don't actually, myself and anybody that is involved with partnering up with the site, we want to make sure that this is only used by legitimate services. We don't want to have fake businesses and fake business owners coming along and I'm just going to stop presenting for a second and just causing grief. We want to make sure that it's real northern businesses, and so that's why you'll even see on the job site. I'll present in a second. I just got to check my jobs to find that listing. But what you'll see is that we're trying to make it so that way we're giving the advantage to the northern communities as much as possible. So even, I guess I should present to show what I'm about to talk about. Sorry about that. Even if, say here on the job site, there's our new job here from the Acme maker. I'll take that down quick here because it's actually a fake advertisement. We don't want Google to get mad at us. What I've done is anything that's not from a vendor that's outside of the north will end up down here in this jobs from across Canada. And yeah, there's a lot of them right now. And this is actually for the benefit of job seekers, not really employers. As I explained earlier, we want more job seekers here. So when they want to come find jobs, they're going to see all the northern jobs up here first, as labeled as the new jobs. And then they'll see more jobs from across Canada. Obviously, we don't really want them to be getting these. Hopefully they're, you know, looking at your posts and filling your needs first and foremost. But this is just another tool and incentive to bring them in, besides, you know, helping them look at all the best jobs that are available. So that leads to a situation where I will remove this here shortly, where if somebody is like, say a business is not part of the YK chamber, even though they should be, comes along and they want to be on here, as long as me or a moderator or some other organization has been able to verify that they are legit, then we're going to put them on here. We're not going to hold back, you know, I don't know, music space or any group that is a legitimate organization as well. We just want to make sure they're recognizable and trustworthy. And so that's why we do the moderation part. And the moderation is only a one-time thing. As soon as your company is whitelisted and your post is approved that first time, you could immediately post again and again. There won't be anything holding you back after that. It's simply like a security kind of a feature. Obviously, we all want to make sure that it's like being used by the right audience. So we're just making sure that this is good quality employers or legit employers, good quality posts, so that when job seekers come here, they're looking for what they need, and there's more likely chance that they'll actually engage and follow through. In fact, we see here, there's a couple people using the site right now, mostly us probably. But it's actually had significant traffic already growing, and it's just because job seekers coming and looking at the posts. So the more of the employers, such as yourselves, can get your stuff out there, the more likely that you're going to start to get some of this traffic. Like here's just a last 7-day view, and it's already getting, you know, again, week over week has been significant growth, but it's now hitting 1.9, like almost 2,000 users. And the nice thing is the bounce rate is super low because the service is relatively simple to use, in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hopefully everybody else finds the same. And so what happens is they're actually engaging. So they're not coming here and then just bailing out right away. This is close to 90% of people stay and use the site when they're here. And yeah, they only hang around for maybe a minute and 12 seconds, but that's also a number that continues to grow up. So as more of the employers and organizations in the North start to put their posts on here, the engagement session duration will likely climb up. And also, hopefully then you all have better luck filling job positions, growing the reach. And speaking of the reach of the site, right now it's based on organic traffic. So what's going to actually happen is tomorrow, when the rest of the public starts to get this advertised to them, the Facebook ads and the Google ads will start to run. So that will be targeting job seekers as well as other employers. But it's not going to be overly aggressive. I'm not trying to spam people and force them to use this. It's just designed to be a community service, more or less. It's not even really designed to make a bunch of money. It's designed to help the community. And so because of that, I really encourage everybody that's using it or just interested in using it to give me as much feedback as they can. You know, if you don't like the way something works, then let me know. Maybe it could be changed. There's a good chance that it makes sense that I will change it. Because this is meant for the end user, which is really Northern employers and, well, Northerners looking for jobs. But first and foremost, it's really for the employers. That's my audience that I'm trying to give back to, and the job seekers is just kind of a happy benefit for the rest of the employment community. So now there's, I'll go and remove some of the stuff here, but I guess I'll just stop presenting a bit here so I can see people's faces maybe a bit. And if anybody wants to ask any questions or has any thing they need, I see a couple things in the chat, which I've been neglecting. So let me quickly check. Okay, great. Good job, Denise. Thank you for that. And so if anybody's going in and making posts or anything like that, or I'm going to actually get rid of that other fake job because we don't want the handle maker guy to actually be.
And Gabe, can you show our guests here on this webinar how they would go about using that code? So if an employer is creating
Absolutely.
a job ad and they want to make a premium, how can they, can you do a bit of a walkthrough so people can take advantage of those premium listings?
That's a great idea. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that fake company example that I did, and I'm going to go through that process all over again. I'm going to make another one of those ads. So I'll just present again. So see that? And that way they can see how to use those and get the good listing. Okay. So there's the preferred and the best way to get them is with the coupon code. It is also possible for someone to buy them. You'll see that Janet Outcrop actually just bought hers to get on there early because she couldn't attend, which is fine. But preferably people will get the resources for free because we're trying to help out. So I'm going to go back from the start for this. Okay. So I'm going to now use my code. Chat. Need to copy it from you. Oh. Go. So code. All right. And so I'm going to, in this case, go and say post a job. It doesn't matter if you don't have an account yet. It's just, I find easier to go straight to it. You want to post a job, say you're going to post a job. And in this case, choose the featured listing, which is normally $84, but in reality, it's going to almost always be free for those of you that are chamber members or know how to ask the right questions, I guess. So I'm going to pretend I'm a new employer again. If you've already created your account, which means you would have made a posting, you would choose this here and it would just let you sign in. But again, go back and do this Acme thing all over again. And once I've done that, it'll let me advance to the next step. And now I've got my creator, my account has been created. Now I'm making my listing, which was supposed to be the full maker. There is a job location. Whenever possible, please put in your location and click that. You could choose it from there, just type it in. But if you do want to allow people to work from home, then you could choose the option to allow that. You don't have to. You just uncheck it and optionally do that. But this does make it easier for the freelancers that are just looking for the jobs they can do from their armchair or whatever. So again, this is repair manufacturing, full time. I will say this time French. I say it was 50,000 again annually. We'll say again directly. I did say before you could do the options there. We're going to stick with this because I also just realized that we should show you what it looks like to receive an applicant. We'll do that after. So now I preview my listing. It shows the listing. If you have any errors, you can just go back. If you're happy with it, then you confirm that listing. And this is where you'll get a chance to redeem a coupon. So obviously, if you don't have it, you just put in your information to buy it, but much better to say, hey, I'm a chamber member, and then it'll give you that 84 bucks off. I should point out that that's not just $84 off on this. In theory, if I have other services that are maybe in demand that get added, I guess it could be used to get a discount off of other things. There isn't actually any major plans for that right now, so fear not. There's not like a bunch of scary and aggressive upsales coming your way. Don't worry about it. You're not going to get much spam or communication unless you even want it. Like in this case, now I'm able to just post that now for free, which is great. Obviously, that'll then bring that to the job site. And in this case, that person, I deleted it, so it has to go all over again. So it hasn't been approved. So then a moderator would go and approve it. In which case, then someone the page would refresh, and the next time you would come here, it would be there. It's usually done pretty fast. That part of it. So just copy that. Oh, here. Oh, that's the same message, not a new one. Okay. So that's how that works. I'm just going to quickly set up something so that I could pretend to apply to that job, because I just want to show people that as well. I think that it's something that's going to be valuable. So let me approve my actual job and stuff here, but I'm just switching in another tab here to make a application fake account. So that, okay, so it's, oh, right, it's a featured listing. Surprised me at first, but it's because it was we use a coupon code. Okay, so let's pretend that we're gonna go now. So there we go. So the job listing has been approved, and there it is, the anvil maker. So we go in here. I'm pretending to be the applicant. So in which case I say, oh, I'm perfect for this job. So I apply, put my information. I don't actually have to put anything there. I probably don't have a resume. Put some other gibberish thing. I don't need the top resume thing, because I'm so confident that I am the best person for this job. Hopefully your applicants give much better cover letters, because I would probably be turned off by that, but unless they were really, really good. Oh, I must have left something out. Oh, it's because I tried to add a file type that actually isn't what we want, or it's too large. So maybe I should. There we go. There is some built-in security features. That's a pretty natural thing nowadays in the web world. I didn't spend too much time talking about it, but they do exist, and that's to protect things like that from happening. It's mad at me now. Oh, I might have to refresh my page. 1 second here. Might have had an internet connection problem. Everybody still here? I'm not talking to myself. Okay, good. Still people here. Let's try. All right, sorry about that. It didn't like my not real resume. I guess, oh, I missed, that's why I should have used my fake resume we had just for this. Sure, I'll get one of those. Some maybe there we go. So then it's actually goes through and it's submitted. So now, in this case, because I was actually just put my post in, I'm already logged in. So let's go back to the home page and pretend like you're not seeing that page there. So in this case, you'll see here, this is the area that shows my sign in a dashboard. You'll see here where it used to say sign up, it also says dashboard. So I just want to make it easier for people to find it. So you could either find it up here in the little employer's dashboard or here in your employer dashboard. You'll see here you got one job posted, one application by the form. So you can actually go edit your profile from here, look at your jobs, edit them from here, and more importantly, look at your applications. So in this case, I'm able to see my form applications, which is right through the site, but I'm also able to see external applications, which means if you chose a link to your website or a link straight to an email, then that would show that under the external applications so that you would still know that you got the referral from the job board. But obviously the analytics that would go along with the next step or the conversion would likely be on your website or wherever that destination was, email, for example. So in this case, I knew this one was through the form because we just did it. So I'm going to go and view that, and I could see the personal information that was submitted. I could actually open that resume, and you'll see it actually will then download that for you. It could have been a PDF, but I didn't. I just threw in a doc. And then the cover letter ideally would say something nice here. You'll see that's pretty sparse because I didn't give the rest of the contact information. I know right now it's optional. Maybe over time we'll make that mandatory, but because you're getting the email, really that's all you need to communicate with somebody nowadays. At least when it comes to this process, it's not like you're going to necessarily do it live. You would book an appointment or an interview with them. So that's that process pretty easily. So the nice thing about it is that now that you have that information in here, that person's in, well, one into your pool, but in the end, this person's information will also be in that other candidate pool, and then the job seekers will have a little bit more control over that. So it's a similar thing to that. So job seekers are able to see now log in, sign up, sorry, and then log in to see something similar to this. But what they're seeing is their applications and the jobs that they've applied on. So it's easier for them to keep track, follow up, upload the resume once, hand it out to a dozen employers, depending on what they're looking for. So that's the quick little tour of that. I'm going to sign out of that now because that fake company is going to have to go away, so that it doesn't get anybody excited to make anvils applying on it. So that's that little bit so far. For the most part, that's covering like the bulk of the functionality and things like that. I would like to see if there's anybody that has any questions or anybody maybe needs help trying to sign up if they're trying to make listings or anything like that. There is people paying attention. So if any of you do make job postings now or anytime after, they will likely be approved in short order, basically instantly for chamber members because we have the list to verify against. So I'm going to remove that job and stuff you guys seen me make. We're going to remove the employer as well because we don't want people even looking at the fake company page. And then that's going to
And Gabe, I actually have two questions for you. The
Sure.
first question is, are businesses required to register and create login information to make job postings?
Yes, they are. But that's why I've tried my best to make it a really frictionless process. So what actually happened, and I tried to point it out when I was signing up that last one there, is that in the while you're making your first post, it actually gets that information to make your profile in the step right before. So what ends up happening in that little wizard that it takes you through, or that dialogue flow, it gets that information. So I don't send out notification emails and stuff because it's moderated, for one thing. So if it was a business that we didn't trust, we wouldn't let their posts ever show. But also so that it cuts down the friction, right? So that way, when any of these, or anybody goes and makes their job posting, it'll be up there, and their password and stuff they would have set up ahead of time. But then that at the same time actually signs them into that profile that they've just made. And that's why I was signed in when I showed that at the end, and I had to go and remove that. So yes, they do, but I've tried to make it incredibly easy. And the other thing about it is that we try our best to make sure that we um, follow all the rules and regulations. Me and any of the developers that I also work with, or any of the partners for that matter, for the most part, we try to follow all the proper rules, like Castle for Canadian rules, and GDPR even, and also California has their own privacy rules now. So any of us that deal with organizations that maybe have clients outside of the North have to be really cautious of that. So myself and many web businesses are really cautious of that. So what it means is that if anybody just wants their information to go away, they have the right to say, hey, I want my stuff to be forgotten, or for some reason I want my profile and all my info gone. That's no problem. If you want that, we'll just remove it from the database. But the other thing too is that we strive to not over collect the information, because I try to consider it almost like handling a toxic material this day and age, because the more info, especially the more private info that you collect, the more it becomes a target. In this day and age, there's like cyber attacks all the time on like I see it all the time. Anyways, that alone makes me overly cautious of that stuff. So if I don't need to have it, there's no real reason to collect it. So that's part of the reason why I left a lot of the fields optional. Like, as long as I have, at least we all have the email to get a hold of somebody, that's great. There's no need for us to collect, a whole bunch of personal info. That's also part of the reason why we didn't go over the top with verification processes. Like, we didn't want to be the kind of design flow where we were like, oh, send us your license, a picture. Like, that's ridiculous. We just want to make sure that you're on a verified list that we could trust, like the chamber member list or the construction association list. Those are really trustworthy sources of information where I could, and my moderators could go in there and say, hey, look at that. You know, uh, the Copper House, they're easy to recognize and they remember. I could trust them, immediately verify, right? And that way they could go and write about their business, making free listings, or better yet, now if they've got a coupon, they could be making premium listings. The other thing too is that, and I said this earlier, this isn't meant to be a big cash grab by Raven Web Services at all. It's close to a free service as possible. Like, even the price that was put on the featured listings and stuff wasn't really to try to make any money. It's really to kind of give an advantage to the Northerners. So that way it was much easier for the partners that I collaborate with, like the Chamber and the Construction Association, to use it as a way to help out businesses that need it, and as a reward for doing what's good business practice. Like, it's good to join associations that benefit tradespeople and local businesses across, not just Yellowknife, but other trades and chambers as well are welcome to join us. So it just happens to be everybody here is part of the first group. Technically, it's not really supposed to be advertised to the public until tomorrow as part of the launch rollout strategy. So you're all the lucky, I guess, ticket winners that showed up and get to have stuff. See, there you go. And construction members also got a code. So we just really me and everybody that's involved in this want everybody to be able to use this as a tool and a service to help them succeed. Um, the other thing about it that I really like is that it's set up in such a way where people can use it as part of their own marketing strategies. So if you're using your Facebook ads or even your posts and Google advertising, which is thankfully becoming easier and easier for the layperson, you could go in there and you could make ads and you could direct people straight to your job posting or straight to your company page. If you're a company that has multiple positions to fill, don't necessarily have to have 12 ads. Have one ad, save yourself a few bucks if you're tight on cash and send it to your company page on the job site. And all of a sudden, then the end result that somebody's going to look at from clicking on your ad when they go to apply on that position or read more, or whatever your call to action is. Hopefully, it's a bit more attractive than read more. They're going to come along and say, "Oh, wow, there's 12 jobs with the chamber or with whatever organization that needs to use this stuff." And the other thing is that we really try to also give the advantage to true Northerners. That's why I've even separated ads that are from outside onto the lower deck, I guess. And again, that is something that I put there for job seekers. If the general community doesn't like that, like for example, if the rest of the people putting job posts on there feel that's a distraction or it's distracting from people applying on their jobs, I'm willing to look at just removing that altogether. I do think it's more valuable to look at the statistics and the analytics. And right now, that by itself brings in close to 200 some visitors a day now. So we might want to keep that around just to get more eyeballs on the site right off the bat, because it benefits all of us that are putting posts there. But that doesn't mean that over time we don't phase it out or maybe cut it down. Like right now, it's over 10,000 posts, and like I guess I should show that just to give you a little bit of an idea what I mean. Is that yeah, we've got these nice outcrop posts, but my goodness, I've got 13 plus thousand posts everywhere else. Like Uber is trying to fill every position. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, as I was explaining at the start of the webinar to Denise, Uber's a bad one. They'll put like up to 1,000 ads at a time, and that'll bury anybody up here. So we have our stuff separated. You'd never have to worry about Uber burying your ads unless they open up shop here in the north. And even then, who knows? Maybe we'll have to make sure they don't get a coupon because that's a lot of ads. Anyhow, yeah, this is supposed to be a community service for the business community. To a lesser extent, that means it's also for all the job community or employers, job seekers. So it's for everybody. And that means I really do welcome everybody's feedback because it needs to serve as much as possible the needs that everybody wants and has to see happen. So like, even if it's sending me an email or calling me or giving feedback to Deneen or to Matt or to anybody else that's involved in handing out your coupons, they may not have the answer, but they can definitely pass it on to me. And I always keep my ears open to that stuff because in the end, I want this to be the best experience, not just for the people using it, but for those of us that are handing out the coupons and are encouraging it. I would like that to be smooth sailing as much as possible. But that's not always possible. There's going to be bugs, hiccups, things like that maybe come along, and I need the community to keep me kind of abreast of all of that so that I could like swoop in there and fix it for you guys, or I could make it better or something like that. And so I'm excited to see how this grows, and I welcome everybody to use it. I'm really grateful that some people took the time to come out and be the early kind of adopters, or at least the people to listen. Because now when the advertising goes out tomorrow, I'm sure we'll get other people start joining in the mix too. And hopefully maybe there'll be some more demand and we'll do another follow-up webinar as needed. But if not, the site's really easy to use. So I welcome everybody to just jump in there and start using it. And those of you that are savvy enough to show up today, you all get a nice kick butt coupon that actually works for unlimited usage. So if you were Uber and you were secretly here, darn it, then that means you're going to be able to go and put in like 1,000 ads on the top. I might move it to the bottom again right away if you try that. But I don't see anybody here that I suspect is from Uber, so I think we're okay.
Gabe, I do have another question for you.
Sure.
Can you chat a little bit about how you're going to be promoting the Handy job site to get more Northern employers signed up? And also, how will someone know how to find this site?
Oh, great question. Okay, so the obvious easiest way is to find it through the actual just URL, which is there. But now that it's being open to the public, you're going to see it through a Facebook page. It has a Twitter page, and that's a great um, point that I should have brought up earlier. Is I encourage anybody to go and look at the page and like it, follow it if you can. It'll be promoted out, and everybody that's in my contact list is going to get it anyways. So there's already a few social channels where you can go. You can also just search for the Handy Job site. Um, the one thing you will find, because it does want to find you localized stuff, is it also depends on your phone device settings. That like if you say jobs near me, things like that, there's a pretty good chance you're gonna find the site. But it's optimized in such a way where every listing and stuff also has a lot of optimization. So when people are searching for stuff, it's not the job seekers aren't necessarily actually going to be looking for the Handy Job site. They'll be looking for specific jobs. Like if they're looking for wait staff jobs, then whatever wait staff jobs are on the site are going to be things that are likely going to be in their results. So the ways that people find it are slightly different. What I mean is that the sense that the job seeker is not really ever going to probably come through the homepage. They're going to unless they're a recurring user or there for the first time. Because when they're searching for it, they'll go straight to the job listings that they find in their results. Whereas the rest of us that are just employers, the easiest way today is to go directly to handyjobs.ca, which is the domain name. But you can search for just Handy Job site, the jobs near me. It's actually getting a fair amount of ranking for Indeed jobs, but it really depends on location for that. Like that seems to be mostly southern viewers, which would make sense because we're not necessarily, at least those of us here aren't always looking for jobs straight on Indeed. Well, I don't know about you guys. Anyhow, right now the best way to go to it is just directly through the URL that's there, or to do a search for it. There is an older handyman service that will likely show up in that listing. So try to make sure that you're cautious of that the first time. But as the rest of the strategy rolls out, and because tomorrow's actually public opening, all of that stuff will start to become more and more populated. So you're going to start to see stuff like this. Oh, am I even presenting? 1 second. So you'll start to see stuff like if you were to search for Handy Jobs or the Handy Job site, you're going to see a lot of pages like this, depending on what you're looking for. But you'll see here, it's lots of Handy Job, different listings, and that's all the Handy Job site. You'll see there was some demo stuff that's there. Technically, that's been removed, so if you go to it, it won't be there. But there is a significant amount of listing stuff there. That also being said, these things tend now more than ever, the algorithms try to cater specifically to what a person is looking for. So the very first time, I guess it's possible that you might have to go directly to it. But over the next couple of weeks, especially as the traffic and everything tends to build, what's going to end up happening is you'll see it just climb significantly in the rankings. Right now, I think it's third or fourth on its own main couple keywords, but it's climbing fast. And as an SEO professional, you could even see just by the trends of it that we're well on the way. Like, let's see here, these last 28 days, and this is before everybody else has come, it's had 5,000 plus users. So almost 200% growth since the day it came out, which was basically the beginning of May or whatever. Right now, it's a little bit more difficult to find than it really will be, and also than what it's intended to be. You'll see here as people are coming in right now, we have a few users, but you kind of can see the breakdown of how it comes through the day. It's almost all organic traffic. Very little of it is coming through social referrals. Even the people that are directly on it right now, which you'll see there as direct is 3. That's people that go handyjobs.ca. Organic search means it's people that are looking for jobs and stuff like that right now. But that's great because that's what employers need, or at least that's what the idea is, to bring in the job stuff. But we need more listings from the employers in the north. So that way the organic optimization and that's SEO optimization will actually work in all of our favors and your favors, because if there's no jobs posted in the north, then it's going to be harder for it to continue to build rank in the north. That being said, I do run the paid advertising starting tomorrow, which will continue to build up the traffic. So you'll start to see referral and social traffic climb up, and it'll likely become as high, if not higher, depending on how much we spend than the organic traffic. But just these organic numbers alone are already higher than the 2 other major job boards that are unique to the north. And as someone that worked close with the Northern Jobs site for a few years, I'm very familiar with their numbers. They're like about 100 users a day, and we're now hitting, yeah, close to 300 a day. So it puts it in perspective of the potential, but it doesn't mean that it's not perfect yet. It still has lots of room to grow. And if the community doesn't need it and use it, and unfortunately, then it'll end up being something that mostly gets Southern traffic. And maybe if that's the case, it kind of is a wasted service. I hope that doesn't happen, but it's really meant for the north. So I guess kind of what I'm saying is, give me your northern content, put your stuff here, put your posts here. It'll definitely get eyeballs, and that'll start to bring in much more traffic from the north. And then because of all the optimization that I do on the stuff on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, it'll build up significantly as well. So you're going to get not just more people from Google, but you'll also get people from Facebook across the north, and from Google display partners, which is YouTube, all kinds of sites potentially that will be bringing in more paid traffic. And that's really all that anybody that does pay for an ad, that little bit that I collect, it actually just goes right into the pot for the advertising. So that's what I meant by it wasn't meant to be a big money maker. What little it makes goes right back directly into the traffic generation, because all the businesses and organizations and the job seekers that are using it really need that, because that'll put it in front of everybody all the time. That way they don't just see it when they're searching for it. You'll see it, programmatically across Facebook, maybe on Sportsnet or whatever regular, I say Sportsnet because that's a website I use every day, but on other sites that have Google advertising and stuff, you'll be able to see it as well. So there will be other ways to find it, but the real answer really is right now for you job seekers to go right to handyjobs.ca, for you employers, and put it on there right now. Job seekers have a much easier time finding it. Yes, my girl. Sorry, I have a sick kid. She has to take her medicine. So can you wait for me, my girl? I'll help you soon. Sorry about that, everybody. But yeah, the real answer is right now, employers go straight to the URL or to the Facebook or search for Handy Job site. You'll find it likely in the top 3 or 4 listings on that first page, which again is a testament to the fact that it has decent traffic already, that it's even hitting first page numbers at all, because it hasn't had a cent spent on advertising yet. That doesn't start till tomorrow. So I'm proud to share this with everybody, but there's a certain amount of onus on the community as well to actually give it a chance, I guess. And hopefully, thanks to the Chamber and the Construction Association and other organizations, we've de-risked it by giving coupons and the ability to have free listings. There's no financial burden to try. So that's really the best way to go at it right now. So it will definitely become much more visible as well in the very near future, and look forward to all of you to start seeing it, especially people that will potentially be targeted in ads. Like employers will likely see an ad telling them to use the site, as well as job seekers will see a different ad telling them to check it out if they aren't already. So that's kind of the little, I hope it answered the question, but it had to be a lot longer and roundabout because I felt like I had to explain a bit more.
With about 15 minutes left, maybe we'll open it up to questions to anyone here in attendance. If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and jump in, or type it in the chat box there. And also, as Gabe said, if you need any assistance getting an account set up or making a job posting, feel free to let us know.
Okay, so I see we got an employer set up already. Nice. Does anybody have any questions or need any help? I would love to help anybody. This has kind of been my little secret baby project for a while, so I am a little bit biased, but I'm sure that everybody's going to find something that could be improved, and I look forward to all of that, because it'll just get better over time. It's the one thing I love about development, and user-driven development is actually the real goal here. So the people that use it are going to be the ones that shape the future of this service, I guess. Really what it's going to be.
Well, I'm not seeing any questions. I think you probably designed it to be just so easy that everyone's able to sign up and get their job posting, and hopefully take advantage again of that free code. It's YKC for members, and that will give you that free premium yellow listing that we saw there at the top.
Oh, one thing I should mention, I almost forgot this, is that the premium listing, or what is actually the featured listing, is going to be the ads that will be featured in like some of our carousel type ads that are being put together. So there's different types of ads. Some are just simply display, and there's other that are video, and then there's other that are media carousels. And so there is already plans to have the jobs that are in that featured listing displayed in some of these carousels. So that means in the paid advertising that Raven Web Services will be doing to promote the Handy job site, that those jobs have the chance to be featured in some of that advertising. So that just means that those listings will get paid traffic without any extra cost. So if whether you bought it for $84 or got it through a coupon code, you will still get that added value. So that's another thing to look forward to when the actual paid campaign starts rolling, which is already tomorrow. So it's super close. And as the ads start to go, you'll see two relatively simple ads that'll run basically monthly or throughout each month. And then you'll start to see the more advanced HTML and media carousel type ads on places like Facebook and stuff that allow those kind of things. So look out for those kind of things. And more importantly is remember that that's something that we're doing to try to add that value. So anybody who actually pays for a listing, that ends up going back into the pot to actually promote the featured listings. So it's like win-win, really. So I hope everybody takes advantage of that. Tell your your recruiter or whoever it is that you get to do that stuff to check it out and use it and get that coupon on behalf of your organization. And if you're not a chamber member, well, that means you're probably not here. But if you know people that aren't a chamber member, tell them to join up. Like, this is I feel like a really generous offer, and you're doing everybody some good by joining a community that's going to speak out for all of us when necessary, as you've seen throughout the last year. And also, that's going to make sure that we're all kind of getting fair access to these types of things. Like, they have your best interest just as much as I do as a business to business vendor, right? Like, I want you all to kick butt and succeed. That way you can afford more services and stuff from me and other marketers and things like that. So if there's no other questions, I guess maybe we can have an early break for lunch. But I would love to have anybody follow up with me. It's easy to get access to me through even the job site if you click on the contact us, or directly to my email. I'll put it here in the chat. And this is actually, I'll give my company, I can't type. I have my company email, but I also have the Handy Jobs email, because it's a full-fledged service on its own, which by rights could probably be a standalone business. So I'm actually just going to give the email for that. So people could contact me directly there. If you want to talk to me about Raven Web Services, just change. Well, you could email me on that one too, but you could also email me. I'll get the other one, and then you could also say Gabe at ravenweb.services if anybody needs any additional help. We are a digital marketing company. So there's lots of other things that we can help with. But in this day and age, with the pandemic and stuff being so hard with everybody, we aren't really pushing to try to force people to spend in areas that they shouldn't and maybe can't afford. And so instead, I've been focusing my energy on providing things, hopefully like this, that benefits everybody. So you have, more returns to come and spend later. All right. I really appreciate the time, Deneen, and everybody else that participated today and came in. I really do have high hopes for this service. And as well, I look forward to modifying it to meet the needs of the users and the businesses and employers of the North. So, like I said, anybody want to follow up with me, feel free to send me an email.
Thank you so much, Gabe, for today's presentation. Again, everyone, be sure to jot down that free code so you can take advantage of those premium listings. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Gabe or even myself. And thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.